Magandang araw mga kabugtaw. Ang pag-usapan natin ngayon ay regime change, no? Pagpapalit ng administrasyon. Um, i- i- According to Professor Jeffrey Sachs, in the last 100 years, the United States of America has been involved in more than 80 regime change. In other words, pinalitan yung presidente, prime minister ng isang bansa na hindi nila gusto dahil sa economic interest, sa ideolohiya, kung ano man. No? Ah, sa more than 80 na yan, magbigay na ako ng ilang halimbawa at pag-usapan natin ang sitwasyon dito sa Pilipinas, no? Ah, Halimbawa, yung sa Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines nung late 1800 and 1900, no? Yung Spanish-American War na umabot sa atin dito at ayaw surrender ng mga Kastila sa mga Pinoy. So, surrender sila sa mga puti, katulad nila ng mga Amerikano at humingi ng $20 million ba yun na uh, reparation or something. Anyway, magbigay ako ng ilang halimbawa. Halimbawa, noong 1909 sa Nicaragua, si Jose Santos Zelaya, uh, inatake ng mga Kano, gumawa sila ng smear campaign. 1909 pa to, no? Kasi may mga business interest na sila in Nicaragua, logging, marami, mineral, mining, no? Itong si Jose Santos Zelaya, gustong i-nationalize yung resources nila na uh, gold for Nicaragua or logs for Nicaragua. Ayun ang kanon noon. Lalo ng mga business, American business company sa Nicaragua. So they conducted a smear campaign and installed their boy, si Juan Jose Estrada, 1909 yan. No, sa almost the same decade, sa Honduras naman, ang presidente na si Miguel Avila wanted to take control of the banana industry. Kasi usually yung mga in control ng banana industry, mga American companies din. Hindi rin nagustuhan ng mga Amerikano yun. Kaya kinodita siya, then ininstall yung tuta ng Kano na si Sam Zimore. No? Ay, ano pala itong si Sam Zimore ay big American businessman who was into banana industry, and he created his own army and invaded Honduras, no? Noong 50s, nung simula ng Cold War between Russia and America, nako, nag-regime change spree ang United States of America. Sa Iran halimbawa, si Mohammed Mossadegh, no? Uh, ang presidente wanted also to nationalize the oil. Kasi at the time, yung oil ng Iran ay controlled ng British company, yung Anglo-Iranian company, which later on became BP, British Petroleum. Dahil gusto ni Mossadegh na paalisin yung mga British, at dapat sabi, itong oil na to ay para sa Iran. Ay, yun. Ang ginawa namang itong British company, they meet with the CIA Middle East head, uh, Middle East Bureau head na si Kermit Roosevelt, pamangkin daw to ni Theodore Roosevelt, no? Na at the time nasa England, at sinabi na pinapaalis na kami sa Iran. So ang ginawa nitong si Kermit Roosevelt, pumunta ng Iran at doon siya nagtrabaho sa basement ng American Embassy sa Iran. And he funded dissent, bribing politician, attack religious leaders, na pinalabas na si Mossadegh yung may utos noon, and organized a guerrilla movement and eventually installed the siya si Mohammed Reza Pahlavi, yung Shah of Iran. Naging diktador. His administration was known for its brutality, police state, and executed a lot of people hanggang sa na-depose siya ni Ayatollah Khomeini. Ngayon, nung si Ayatollah Khomeini na yung nakaupo, ang ginawa naman ng mga Amerikano, pinandingan si Saddam Hussein ng Iraq. Yun ang Iran-Iraq war noon. Kaya si Saddam Hussein actually it was a product of the American and British nation na para girahin yung Iran. Sa Latin America, marami din. No? Noong 1951 to 1954, si Jacobo Arbenz wants to break up the US monopoly in the banana industry. Kaya nga, in fact, si Johnny Harris, may documentary about banana in Kudita. Kaya nga, nalala ko si late si Pedro. Yung kamamatay lang na Apo hiking. No? May company siya na tinatag na may mga t-shirt eh. Ito ang pangalan ng Apo hiking. Kaibigan ko actually yun. Danny Javier. Hindi. Si Danny Javier. No? Tinawag niya na Banana Republic ang Philippines. Ang ibig sabihin, Banana Republic, mahina, madaling i-control. Kasi actually, sa Guatemala, isa Latin America, yung banana industry doon was caused the rise and fall of administration. Dahil si Arbenz, gusto niyang he wanted to take back the Guatemalan banana industry. Ayun, nagalit na naman ang mga Kano, no? So ginawa nila, gumawa ng guerrilla movement. Notorious talaga yung United Fruit Company na yan, no? In-install si Castillo Armas, no? They conducted bombing at they murdered a lot of people. In fact, may radio station pa sila doon. Nakala ng marami sa Guatemala, yun pala sa Florida, nakabase yun. Then smear campaign against Arbenz. No? Sa mga 1960s, sa Congo naman, si Patrice Lumumba. Naman sa Congo, they have gold and most of all, they have uranium. Take note, this was in the 1960s. No? And it was more or less the height of the nuclear arms race, and kailangan nila ng uranium. Sa Congo, marami palang uranium. Kaya lang, ayaw kinontrol ni Patrice Lumumbaw itong uranium. Kaya ayun, si Allen Dulles at the time, CIA director, siya yung nagpakana na ma-depose si Lumumbaw. Sa Dominican Republic naman, 1960s din, si Trujillo, there were several assassination attempts against him because again of he wanted to nationalize their resources, yung logging, mining, yung fruit industry nila, na karamihan pag-aari at pinapatakbo ng mga American company. Sabi, this should belong to the Dominican Republic. So, as usual, he was deposed. 1963, Vietnam. Si Ngo Dinh Diem, yung presidente. Take note, this was the height of the Cold War. Kasi at the time, Vietnam divided sa North and South, controlled by the Communist, South controlled by was democratic. Hindi nila gusto si Ngo Dinh Diem, kaya kinausap ng CIA ang isang general doon, si General Dong Van Minh, na CIA boy. He orchestrated a lot of coup d'etat attack hanggang sa Ngo Dinh Diem went into hiding. Then General Dong offered a truce. They met in a Catholic church. Dapat mag-usap, pero pagdating doon, binaril ni General Dong si Ngo Dinh Diem. who was a Catholic president of Vietnam. At the time, the United States was also run by a Catholic president, si JFK. And JFK was not very happy about it. Kaya lang 20 days after, JFK was also assassinated. But that was significant kasi eventually the Americans were involved in the Vietnam War, and hundreds of thousands of Americans were killed in that war. Yeah? In other words, uh, nakarma ang mga Amerikano sa pakikialam sa Vietnam, and eventually they were defeated. Shamefully defeated in Vietnam. No? Brazil, 1964, si Gilliard, no, isang leftist daw. Ayaw na naman ng mga Amerikano kasi baka maging komunista. In fact, dito sa Asia, yun ang teorya din nila, kaya nakialam sila yung tinawag nilang domino effect, that if one country in Central Asia will become communist, it will have a domino effect. Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, no, maging komunista din. In fact, even the Philippines was involved in that. No, they deposed Villar and installed their CIA boy, which was Castillo Blanco. The same in Chile, no, si Pinochet noon. No? Very oppressive reign din. Sa Libya, ganun din, si Gaddafi, no? They didn't like Gaddafi kasi medyo allied sa Russian. So the time the US President was Reagan. He sent weapons to Chad, just south of Libya, to form a movement to harass Gaddafi through insurgency movement, attacks, etc., etc. No? Ganon din sa Grenada. No? The usual reason Grenada might become a communist, so they deposed Bernard Ford. Ganon din sa Panama, 1989. Ang tuta ng kano na si Manuel Noriega, who was into drug trade and everything. But eventually, they lost trust in Noriega kasi parang sabi nila, baka ibigay sa Russia itong Panama Canal. That happened recently also, that they said China will control Panama Canal. So eventually, they invaded, they deposed Noriega, they invaded Panama and arrested Noriega and sentenced him indicted him in Florida. But take note, during the height of Noriega, he was involved in the drug trade and everything, but the Americans tolerated it kasi gusto nila ng tuta doon. And they installed Guillermo Indara. The same in Afghanistan, when Russia invaded Afghanistan, 1979 ba yun? No? Ang presidente ng Amerika noon si George Bush Sr. No? When Russia invaded Afghanistan, the US funded resistance movement, the Mujahideen, freedom fighters, no? Headed by, I think, Muhammad Abdullah, something, no? Then, Wajbula, no? However, they deposed this Wajbula, and he said, Mujahideen, Afghanistan then was headed by Muhammad Rajbullah. Then the US created this Mujahideen, freedom fighter, to resist the Russian. Then eventually Wajbullah was deposed. No? But in he was deposed, he warned the Americans that the American against Wajbullah will be what the Americans did. It will make Afghanistan to be the center of terrorism. And true enough, it was prophetic kasi from that rank of Mujahideen came Bin Laden and al-Zarqawi who created ISIS. Actually, yung pagpinansa ng US Mujahideen was via the Bin Laden companies kasi yung mga Bush tsaka mga Bin Laden, they were business partner. And the Bin Laden group of companies, they created airports in Saudi Arabia, highways, and everything. Then eventually Bin Laden attack America from maraming theory. May mga ebidensya that the 911 attack was really an inside job, no? Because sabi si Rumsfeld at the time, yung defense secretary, they need an event equivalent to Pearl Harbor. Then after that, they had a justification to invade many countries in the Middle East, no? But after 911, the Americans went back to Afghanistan and were eventually defeated. No? Um, and the weapons that the Americans supplied before sa Mujahideen were used against them also, which killed a lot of American soldiers there. And eventually, Afghanistan was ruled by the Taliban. Iraq 2003. No? They said na si Saddam daw had weapons of mass destruction, so they invaded Iraq. Actually, ang chief architect dyan was Dick Cheney, at the time the Vice President of the United States of America. And it was whispered in government circle that it was actually Dick Cheney was running the government, hindi si George Bush Jr. Kasi nasinggero yun bomb yun So siya yung may pakana ng weapons of mass destruction na wala naman talaga. Pagdating doon, wala silang nakita. But eventually, they invaded Iraq. And after that, the company of Dick Cheney, may episode ako sa Bugtaw, mga early episode ko about the Dick Cheney, no? Ang company niyang Halliburton was awarded billions of contracts by the American government to rehabilitate Iran and to corner the oil industry in Iran. So, bottom line, pera. Pero wala. They had a problem. Nag-install sila ng tuta nila sa Interim Governing Council, si Alawi, but that government was plagued by insurgency, which eventually the Americans had to leave. Sa El Salvador, ganon din. No? Si General Romero, nabilitawan din nila. No? Rin yun. Then 2011, kung naalala niyo yung Arab Spring, yung series of protests sa Middle East, Egypt, no? Yun. Then sa Libya, they also deposed Gaddafi, and eventually Gaddafi was killed. To the regrets of many Libyans, kasi mas maganda yung buhay nila, maayos, mabuti yung buhay nila noong panahon ni Gaddafi, kasi si Gaddafi ang orientation is social democracy. So it's a welfare state, free education, healthcare, everything. Nung nawala si Gaddafi, nawala din yon. And the Americans really destroyed Libya. Now, these are just a few examples ng mga regime change na ginawa ng mga Amerikano all over the world throughout history. Ang Pilipinas, ganun din. Si Marcos Sr. Kasi eventually, ako before, anti-Marcos ako but eventually, at the end of this term, he was going towards the right direction, especially looking for alternative energy generation no? Like solar, wind power, hydroelectric. But the Americans were not happy about it kasi gusto nila ang Pilipinas will still be dependent on crude import. Kasi syempre, control ng British and Americans yung oil sa Middle East Gusto nila, nagalit. And eventually, Marcos was also, hindi niya na sinusunod ng mga Amerikano nun. He recognized China pa. So, ayun, tanggal si Marcos. The same with Arab. No? Kasi nung pumunta si Arab sa US, si Clinton mismo, sinabi sa kanya na wag mo nang bombahin yung mga MILF kasi MILF, NPA, CPP, NPA, they are all creation of the CIA to weaken the Philippines, to make the Philippines Banana Republic. Hindi sinunod ni Erap. Kaya yun, tanggal din si Erap. No? Nung panahon ni Duterte, in fact, ayaw ng Amerikano, manalo si Duterte, dinaya ko siya. Kailang overwhelming talaga ang support kay Duterte. In fact, they were rumored the assassination attempt against him. In fact, I cannot tell all the details, pero kung naalala nyo nung sa Israel sila, ah, si Esperon at the time, ano ba, National Security Advisor ata, instead of going with the team to go back to the Philippines, dumiretso siya ng Washington. Dinig ko kinausap yung mga kaibigan niyang CIA about this assassination plot kay Duterte. Ano bang gusto niyo? No? Ganoon naman eh. No? Um, ayaw talaga Amerikano kay Duterte because of his independent foreign policy plus his he was friendly to China and Russia, no? Kaya kasi makita niyo napakawalang hiya talaga sa mga Amerikano na 'to, eh, no? Throughout history, dahil lang sa business interest ng mga company nila, sinuportahan mga diktador, maraming namatay. They don't care kung maraming mang namatay sa mga bansang yun. There was a plan to depose Duterte. Ang ano naman nila doon, ang gimmick naman nila noon, yung drug war ni Duterte, even the Catholic Church was rabid. Kasi kahit sa kay Erap to, the Catholic Church was involved. There was a very Jesuit, hindi lang alam mo marami to, at alam ko to kasi ako mismo involved. Eh. Sinabi ko nga rin to kay Erap. Pero, noon. That was one of the key operators in the depose of ERAP. Ang triumvirate nun si Bert Gonzales, si Father Entengan, saka si Vic Corpus. Bert Gonzales took care of the political component. Father Entengan took care of the civil society component. Kaya ang host ng Kumpil nun was always Ateneo. Eh. Yan Vic Corpus compared of the military component kasi mista niya sa Reyes eh. Although Reyes is 63, si B. Corpus 64, kaya si B. Corpus was original 63 na torn back lang. Yun ang triumvirate. And of course, the CIA was really behind it. Even nung EDSA 1, EDSA 2, they were behind it. So, but kay Duterte, hindi sila nag-succeed. Kasi kahit ginimik nila yung drug war ni Duterte, but it did not gain support. Kasi very popular eh. Gusto ng tao eh. Maraming drug addict ang natimbog at kahit mga pusher, user, huminto at tumahimik ang mga community. Ang talagang, siyempre, maingay lang noon yung simbahang katoliko at siyempre yung mga dilawan na eventually nag-morph sila into Pinklawan and now they're back. Kaya dito kay kay FBR, sorry, kay BBM, ano bang senaryo? Will there be a regime change? Sa tingin ko malabo. Kasi gusto siya ng kanoon. Because only the America, especially the CIA, have mastered the art and science of regime change. Kung mayroon man siguro. And the United States of America, through the CIA, controls the armed forces of the Philippines. So, malabo kasi they need BBM for their agenda here in Southeast Asia, which is a proxy war in 2027, sabi ng ni Papario ba yan? Sino ba yung SINGPAC na yun? Hindi na SINGPAC, ano pala? Indo-Pacific Command na ngayon, no? Gusto nila magkagera dito to weaken the economy of this region, including China, kasi hindi matanggap ng Amerikano, talo na sila eh. No? So, although may possibility na pag nawala ng popular support si BBM tulad ng nung kinidnap nila si Pangulong Duterte, nako, worldwide ang mass mobilization yun. Hindi initiated ng CIA yun. Talagang taos-puso yun galing sa taong bayan. Kasi alam nyo, sa Turkey may school dyan ng CIA where they train people to instigate mass dissent, mass movement. Pero itong nakita natin worldwide na support and protest for the kidnapping ng President Duterte. Hindi initiated ng CIA yun. Natural yun. Talagang taos-puso yun. Dahil yung sa pagmamahal ng mga taong bayan kay Duterte. No? Uh, so, may posibilidad na pag nawalan kasi ng popular support yung tuta nila, binibitawan din nila eh. Tulad yung kay Romero sa El Salvador, yung Shah of Iran. Pero kung bitawan nila si BBM, yung papalit si Inday Sara, who is for independent foreign policy. Ma-frustrate din ang plano nila for proxy war. So they're caught between the devil and the big blue sea. So I think they will tolerate BBM, no? Kawawa ang Pilipinas, dapa ang Pilipinas maliban sa korupsyon, isasalang pa sa giyera ang Pilipinas. Ang hirap ngayon ng mga taong bayan. Pero may mga may mga international development that I see a glimmer of hope. Kasi umiba na yung ang mundo. Hindi na siya nung nawala ang Russia, bipolar noon bipolar world. Russia versus America, democracy versus communism. Then nag-collapse ang Russia, so it was a unipolar world. USA was the dominant world power. Pero wala na yon. There's now the rise of China, Russia, India, the BRICS. Brazil, India, China, South Africa, and many South Asian countries and Middle East countries are joining the BRICS. So America is no longer in power. Besides, mangkarote ng Amerika, wala silang pera. No? Although ang pera nila, kung ano man natira, ginagamit pa rin nila to bribe and bully nations, no? Tulad sa propaganda. Sabi nga ni Colonel Douglas MacGregor, isang West Point grad, isa sa mga retired officer na hinangaan ko kasi nag-iisip, no, si Douglas MacGregor. West Point graduate, dati sa US advisor ni Trump, Trump 1, no, first term ni Trump, saka trabaho sa Pentagon. Ngayon, anti-war siya. Against siya sa mga ginagawa ng Amerika sa mundo. America will never win the war. It did not win the war in Vietnam, did not win the war in Afghanistan. It will not win the war in Iraq. Much more China, Diyos ko. Kasi sabi outdated ang doctrine ng US Ground Forces. America daw is a naval and air power. Kaya lang, if you really want to invade a nation, you have to send in the ground forces. And that's where America is weak. Kita naman natin sa mga sini, yung mga na-PTSD sa kanila. Kasi, first of all, doctrine, in fact, sabi nga ni Colonel Douglas MacGregor, kahit si Major Scott Ritter, dating US Marine, we don't have only to rebuild our army, we have to create a new one because this army, US Army, is outdated in the doctrine, the equipment. Kaya nga, talo sila sa Ukraine Kasi US Army nagpapatakbo doon. No? Sumusunod lang yung mga Ukrainian general doon. Ayun, palpak. No? So, umiiba ang sitwasyon ng mundo. No? Bankrupt ang Amerika, bankrupt ang Europe, ang Germany will soon go into recession, the same with the United Kingdom. And Asia is rising. Tayo lang yung kawawa dito dahil nagpapakatuta sa kano itong CBF. Pero dahil dyan, there's a glimmer of hope na mawala ng control ng Amerika. They're losing control. And eventually, they will lose control in the Philippines. And the people, dahil sa kidnapping ni Pangulong Duterte, are already moving, they are already mobilizing. Itong resulta ng eleksyon, wala, lang yun, package daw yun para to keep them at bay. Tama si Glenn Chong, 831. May concession sa mga DDS, sina Batos, sina Maricoleta, sina Bongo, may concession sa mga Dilawan, si Bam Aquino, may concession sa mga Pinklawan, si Kiko Pangilinan. It's like meat thrown to the dogs to keep them at bay. Pero on the ground, ang gutom, ang kahirapan, ang galit, ang protesta ng taong bayan is rising. So, there are signs of hope. Tingnan natin kung anong mangyari.